Hi, my name is Manuel Garcia. This is the journal article review for the contribution of play experiences in early literacy, expanding the science of reading. From the abstract, children's experiences in preschool and kindergarten influence their future literacy learning. There's been more focus recently on systematic, direct instruction of skills in phonics and phonemic awareness. The process of learning to read involves developing both decoding and comprehension skills. So, play experiences are linked to three areas. One is the development of language skills necessary for linguistic comprehension. That's vocabulary, decontextualized language, and oral narrative competence. Two, opportunities for functional literacy behaviors. This includes emergent reading and writing behaviors. And then three, skills related to decoding, including print awareness, phonological awareness, and word reception and reading fluency. So, playing time for playing has traditionally been considered important for young children and has been reduced and often replaced by teacher directed skill based lessons. Effective reading requires both skills to decode symbols into sounds and skills to make meaning of text. By focusing primarily on explicit code based instruction, we run the risk of having children who cannot understand what they read. Play experience supports a wider range of skills for reading development. So, just a brief history and models of early reading development. In the 50s, they had reading readiness, where formal reading instruction was not started until age 6 years and 6 months. Children had it was believed that children had insufficient mental development to learn to read at an earlier age. Then in like the 60s, this is where teachers started getting children ready to read before formal schooling. Preschool and kindergarten continued to focus on auditory and visual discrimination, letter names and sounds, word recognition, and often using direct instruction. Reading skills were developed in children before writing was introduced to them. In 1975, Noam Chomsky showed that children use cognitive approaches to construct their knowledge and language. Meaning of reading expanded to include cognitive, linguistic, meaning making, and social processes. This is where the theory of emergent literacy came about, with emergent literacy having A, reading and writing developed simultaneously as interrelated processes, and B, establishing that there was a continuity of processes of becoming literate from birth through the point of conventional literacy. In 1986, Gow and Tomer established that reading is the product of decoding and linguistic compression skills. Also, preschool oral language development predicts reading comprehension at age 3, and that reading comprehension and decoding do not emerge as distinctly measurable constructs until about third grade. So, focusing only on the decoding component of the simple view of reading overlooks the significant importance of language related skills in successful reading development. In regard to the role of play in reading development, the role of play contributes to language skills that relate to linguistic comprehension and develops the functional skills of working with print and text. The most important aspect of this is socio-dramatic play that includes the self-directed, imaginative use of language, symbolic representation, and reciprocal roles. Games are the developmental continuance of socio-dramatic play and provide an effective context for learning and literacy skills. Example, children pretending to be customers at a restaurant, or playing taxi, or ordering food, or reading a menu, or assuming the roles of different characters while reenacting a story. Then there's play and language development, probably one of the more important parts of the article. This includes vocabulary, decontextualized language, and oral narrative competence. In regard to vocabulary within the realm of play and language development, when children know more words, they're able to encode the words into memory as phonemic units, allowing children access to sound units that are smaller than words. Decontextualized language. Young children need to be able to describe objects and events that are not present or clear when speaking to someone who does not share their background knowledge of the topic. So, for example, retelling stories, answering open ended questions, and giving explanations. And there's oral narrative competence. Children's oral narrative competence, such as acting out, retelling a story, relate to later reading comprehension. And the ability to create and understand narratives stems from both decontextualized language and an understanding of story schema that helps children organize the structure of the discourse. So, through their experiments that they referenced, enriched sociodramatic play, which included a theme, props, and adult intervention, improved kindergartners' language functioning, including the total number of words used, the number of specific and content words, and the mean length of utterance and grammatical complexity. Then it shifts to play and decontextualized language. Children who had engaged in dramatic play about the topic were able to use more explicit language when retelling the story to a listener who had not heard it before. So, negotiating different roles and symbolic transformations during play helps children practice encoding meaning through language. Okay. Play and oral narrative competence. Children's oral narrative skills, including retelling and creating original stories, are used in comprehending and writing narrative text. Now, when children engage in socio-dramatic play, they use elements of story structure, such as setting, character roles, and plot episodes. So, for example, setting would be like a doctor's office. Character roles could be a doctor or patient, or plot episodes, such as the patient is sick and needs a prescription for medicine. Structure helps young children generate oral narratives and the ability to understand stories. So, children at all age play in the play condition recalled more story events and sequences. The increases in ability to retell stories to active engagement and the perspective taking needed to coordinate during the role plays as well. So these are some of the implications affecting play in schools. We see more explicit instruction and less time for play and play. Many teachers believe that there's not enough time to use play in kindergarten because of the pressure to meet academic standards. However, nowhere in the Common Core standards does it explicitly state that you cannot play. What it says is the use of play with young children is not specified by the standards, but it is welcome as a valuable activity in its own right and as a way to help students meet expectations in this document. Um, Teachers and policymakers, they should ensure that there is time in preschool and kindergarten for planned play experiences and games that are scaffolded by adult guidance. When the article recommends that teacher preparation programs teach strategies for adult guidance during play that have been shown to support emergent literacy. Um, so, in regard to the main concept being that both decoding and comprehension skills are both necessary to develop literacy learning, it is essential that aspects of play are utilized. The one crucial aspect that was emphasized in the article is that it's adult guided play, not merely free play. So when a book reading, like a scaffolded book reading lesson, is paired with an adult guided play activity, that is the optimal blend that can elicit better response for literacy development. Some of the things, so the article is very clear about emphasizing that it is not so much just free play, but adult guided play. The There were instances that would have been um, that could have been explored more, such as culturally and linguistically diverse learners, socioeconomic neurologically challenged learners, learners with disabilities as well, and how to adapt methods of play to accommodate maybe those students who do not have access to this sort of play oriented resources. Um, but other than that, the article was very good at emphasizing that play and pretty much fun is a crucial aspect of younger children's ability to develop um, literacy. Okay, thank you. So I made this with Screencastify and Google Slides, and here's the reference to the article. Thanks.